Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriots Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot, and for today's episode, we're going to talk about the Cenk Uygur versus Tim Pool interview today that Tim basically conducted with that moron Cenk Uygur, and just a couple highlights from it, basically. Um, this whole episode sort of stems off from something that was discussed during NEA's recent cast here in the last half hour or so, which is the whole Ahmaud Arbery case, actually. And the thing is, there's a lot of false narratives to that whole case entirely. That being said, just to clarify things to begin with, I think everybody involved in that case was in the wrong, personally, from the guys who killed him to Ahmaud himself, for that matter, and so forth and so on. Had pretty much all those guys not been doing what they were doing, everybody would be alive today, honestly. And it's really simple as that, truthfully speaking. That being said, Ahmaud Arbery was not the fucking saint everybody makes him out to be. He was basically just another one day. Had a long ass felony conviction, criminal record. Probably shouldn't even been on the streets, honestly, if we're going to be truthfully honest with ourselves about everything there. The guy was, and that's the whole point. So, you make stupid choices in your life, you do stupid things in your life, and then you wonder why you killed randomly before you're 30 years old is what it is. So, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, what it really comes down to be. But yeah, the entire point of Tim versus Cenk, though, is Cenk went full retard like several times in several clips I saw there on that one. Whether it be, basically cucking for, criminals like those guys, Ahmaud and George Floyd, etc. there. Or whether it be him just being completely a fucking retard in general and basically a 5-year-old child during some of those clips and stuff about various things. There's a bunch of different ones floating around the internet currently of stupid things that Cenk said during this whole thing, which was let me grab a couple things here. I reposted some stuff to the network page on Twitter. There's what it is. So I'm gonna try to go grab them real fast. So let's see here. Yeah, you had this one here from Cenk's idiotic ass, which was falsely claiming most of the domestic terrorists in America right now are right-wingers. Tim Pool and Cenk Uygur debate the FBI stance on domestic terrorism. I would actually say that's completely a false narrative, seeing as how when you actually look at who most domestic terrorists in this country are currently, it is literally Islamic imports into this nation. Or it's people that have converted to Islam in the United States of America currently. And if it's not those people, it will be very soon, honestly, when you look at how we have so many sleeper cells right now going on in this nation. Hell, you look at the people coming over our open border system currently every single day, dude. It's all fighting age males of various ages. And literally all males is what it really is, honestly. Yeah, I know that they found the guy. That's another thing, too, by the way, go into that for a minute. The whole, they found the main killer, obviously dead now after 2 days. Self-inflicted gunshot wound is what they're claiming right now. And it's like, okay, how much of a fucking setup is that shit, dude? Like, that is the most fucking shady ass shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way, man, that guy was, like, dead for, like, a couple hours, a day, 2 days, whatever it is there. And they didn't find him until now. And again, like I said, I've been to Maine in the past. But even going around there where I was and stuff, dude, and there's like nooks and crannies where you can hide at and stuff like that, you would have still found this dude by then. Like, you would have found him like yesterday, especially given the fact that you supposedly had the cops combing over a bunch of different spots where it was first off the town this happened in, and then basically the town over, which is where they found his body at. It was that Lisbon town next to the Lewiston. And it's like, they're not that far apart, man. Like, there's no fucking way that the guy's, corpse potentially was hanging out there for fucking 2 days is what it is, at some recycling plant dumpster or whatever the case is. Like, no, you would have had multiple police sweeping everywhere is what it is there, and FBI, feds, whatever the case be. Even maybe like, just random citizens and stuff like that too. and you would have had somebody find him way before that. So I personally believe that was probably a body dump by the feds at this point, which makes more sense given the fact that when you actually look into the whole case itself, even seeing it yesterday, which was that Maine, before all this happened, was the lowest crime rate state in America right now. They had big ass gun ownership and they had super low crime rates. So, yeah, it just seems very fucking fishy that they. Well, the thing about it is, like, you know, as was brought up here, nobody took out the garbage for days. So the thing is, like, they had everybody on lockdown. And I don't know if it was in that Lisbon town, but I know it was the Lewiston town. And it might have been actually both towns. I'm thinking about it. Everybody's supposed to be on lockdown for the last, since it happened, essentially, until I think it was sometime this morning is what it was then or something, is when they finally lifted the stuff. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that right there shows you everything you know, honestly, because it's like, yeah, you could have had the feds easily have enough time to plant the fucking body someplace and like stage fucking bodies and shit. So honestly, like, yeah, just the whole thing just screams of a false flag attack at this point. And just completely U.S. government done. And it makes sense when you see people like Biden and Kamala and fucking this dumbass Jared Golden guy from Maine and Susan Collins. I don't know about Susan Collins more than anything. She definitely is sort of like toting the line is what it is right now. But she, as far as I'm aware, she hasn't done a full-blown gun confiscation talk yet. I'm sure she will soon at some point, though, because she is a rhino sack of shit. She needs to be tossed out of office, by the way, many times over at this point in history, because she was one of the 10, I think is what it was, that helped sign the Safer Communities Act bullshit into place there. And that right there should have been her final day in office and walking free as a human being, actually, because she should have been arrested on the spot right there for breaking corrupt laws would have been. So, but yeah, the entire point is, though, is you had all these Democrats basically calling for AWBs now. You have, state Democrats here in Ohio and in Pennsylvania, etc., trying to force through red flag laws now in these states, as if those fucking did anything at all in Maine, which they didn't, by the way, because, Maine has the yellow flag laws, weren't enacted. You had New York have red flag laws where the guy was held up in a mental health facility there for 2 weeks. They weren't fucking enacted. So, yeah, your bullshit doesn't work, people, is what it is. All it does is target law-abiding people. It's like I said many times in these casts, when you look down at Florida and stuff like that, you got people 3-4 years plus now at this point. Ever since since the day they put in the red flag laws down there after Parkland happened. Because obviously, you have all these Democrats being like, well, we need to do something. Let's fucking pass anti-gun laws. Okay, cool. And you had the previous governor before DeSantis sign that bullshit to places what it was there. And then I believe it was under Ron's governorship it took effect. So it would have been like January of 2019 then or whatever. And the thing is, and this is one thing, this is the biggest knock I will give DeSantis right now. In over 4 years now, he has yet to rescind red flag laws in the state of Florida. He has signed in a variation of constitutional carry down there, but yet he still refuses to get rid of fucking unconstitutional bullshit like red flag laws in the state. So, yeah, like that's the biggest fucking knock against that dude I'll have right now, is he wants to sit there and claim to be pro 2A of any kind, but yeah, he sits there and puts restrictions on the Second Amendment like red flag laws and stuff that are completely unconstitutional, that have had people in the state literally fighting for their rights to be restored now for years of their lives, when it's supposed to be temporary restrictions. Yeah, temporary my ass, dude. Fucking 3-4 years is not temporary. That's a lifetime for some people, for God's sakes. But anyway, to go back to what I was talking about, though, with all that stuff, yeah, just the whole thing just seems suspect as fuck is what it is. And like I said, more than enough time for the feds to do what they were going to do, which is, plant the guy's body someplace or whatever it is. And yeah, really the end game was as it will be every time. It's the Democrats, the scumbag rhinos, the piece of shit fucking politicians in this country, the puppets of etc., who want disarmament in this nation. Their whole thing is literally grab the guns, grab the guns, grab the guns. It's never, hey, let's actually deal with the real problems like mental health in this country. And that's the thing. This particular guy, if it is the guy they're claiming it is, because obviously there is that surveillance footage that looks like it could be a completely different guy with like, slightly slimmer face and shit like that. So, let's go ahead and say at face value it is the guy. Like, yeah, he should have never been let out of the fucking institution is what it is then. He should have been in a rubber room for the rest of his life, probably is what it is, but he's hearing fucking voices in his head and shit. So, anyway. But, yeah, going back to the Cenk Uygur thing, though, with Tim Pool, you had Cenk basically going and doing a real bunch of dumb shit, like I said, falsely claiming that right-wingers are domestic terrorists in this country. Then you also had his idiotic ass. Where's the one I was looking for right now? Yeah, you had this one where Tim and Cenk were talking about. Oof, sorry, acid reflux coming up again. Cenk falsely claims there was barely any Antifa. Meanwhile, there was right-wing militias everywhere, and there was only like 2 Antifa dudes in Portland. Except that's where their fucking main hub is, you jackass. So Cenk Uygur tries to argue that Antifa doesn't exist. Tim Pool brilliantly pushes back and then talks about the Chaz. The one thing that pisses me off about Tim in the situation, that's why Tim kind of is like milk toasty, is what I would call him, actually. Because neither one of these guys, as I brought up here, there was over 100 people in that Capitol Hill area that had apartments and stuff like that. These people were being held hostage at the barrel of a fucking gun by Raz Simone and other BLM Antifa terrorists in that area for weeks there while the occupation was happening. You really had these people try to come out of their homes, and they were being strong-armed to basically pay fees to these fucking douchebag terrorists in Antifa and BLM to leave the area to go to work. And then to come back home, they were basically extorted a second time. But yet, Raz Simone, SoundCloud rapper and wannabe warlord, still walks free to this day. Hasn't been charged with hundreds of fucking felonies, both state and federal for that matter, because he was breaking a bunch of state laws that are, well, equate to felonies and stuff like that, like giving random people guns. Because in the state of Washington, you had, even back then, you had to do like background checks for all sales and shit like that. I think that's unconstitutional personally, but again, that was state law, so he's breaking he's doing a felony right there. Is that what it is? When he gave that kid the AR and stuff like that. That was clearly Antifa. He was all, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was also one of the pieces of shit that literally opened fire not long after that on multiple people. You had Raz and his fucking idiot squad there kill at least 3 or 4 people that we know about. That's just the ones we know about, by the way. Because you had them literally open fire on like SUVs and stuff like that that were coming towards the barricades and shit. And one of them was a couple of guys who were young black males, actually. And those particular guys were just joyriding a car that they had stolen there. And then you had, like I said, Antifa and BLM open fire on these guys. They killed both of them. The one guy's father is actually now in litigation against the state of Washington, against the city of Seattle. And I believe he also named then Mayor Jenny Durkin, as well as a couple other people involved in his son's death for wrongful death lawsuits. And it's like, good for you, bro. Take them for the fucking clears, honestly, on that one. So, if you guys will excuse me for a second, I need to blow my nose. I'm not going to do it on camera, so. All right, I'm back. So anyway, yeah, you have at least 3 to 4 people that they killed there. Plus, when you add in other stuff, you actually had, this is something people don't talk about either, because a lot of people don't even know about this. This is stuff I actually learned through research and whatnot. Was after the fact, you actually had random bodies that were chopped up into pieces being found in various dumpsters a couple of blocks away from the Chaz during that time period. So people are pretty sure there was at least one serial killer in that place who was killing people and chopping up their remains is what it was there, and then dumping them off site to different places then, like a few blocks down the road is what it was. So, yeah, crazy shit. And that was at least like a few other people then. So, not to mention the gang rape going on there every day. You had women being sexually assaulted in that place 24/7 the entire time it was going on for weeks there. You had random attacks on folks. You even had Yankee Marshall getting punched by one of the Antifa guys there. You know, so yeah, just all kinds of misdemeanors and felony assaults and stuff like that. You had various Antifa people in vehicles without plates on them, driving around, threatening people, etc., that were trying to come in the area. So yeah, there was like hundreds, if not thousands, of actual felonies being committed during the entire, what was considered the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone that later became the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest, because when they named it an autonomous zone, they were basically trying to leave U.S. soil and do a essentially armed insurrection is what it actually was. And then meanwhile, when they realized that wasn't a smart idea because they weren't going to have, assistance of any kind, then they called it an occupied protest and it became the CHOP. So, and of course, it didn't actually stop until piece of shit Mayor Jenny Durkin then had a city councilwoman who is still a city councilwoman who shouldn't even be in this country, a woman named Kamisha Sawant, who literally found Durkin's address, because Durkin's address was not public record at that point, was because Jenny Durkin previously worked for Obama's administration back in the day, so she had a privatized address at that point where it was not public record. So only people that were involved in government, including Kamisha Sawant, could have found it, which she did. And then she actually tried to lead a secondary Chaz straight to Durkin's front door, to where they were going to do a second occupied protest on Durkin's front lawn, basically. And it wasn't until then that within a couple hours, Jenny Durkin called the cops and was like, hey, Seattle PD, do your fucking job, break up this bullshit fucking thing that's been going on for weeks now. And of course they did. That's why you see the video footage out there of them running in there the next morning, wherever it was, and they were just smashing the fucking place up and arresting everybody they could, is what it was then. So, yeah, it's a bunch of shit, dude, entirely. And again, Democrats don't give a fuck until stuff like that happens, is what it is. So, I feel like there's at least one other one here. Oh, yeah. Then you had this stupid shit, which was Citizen Free Press, saying, Cenk Uygur is a lunatic. Good on Tim Pool for remaining calm. This is Cenk acting like a fucking 5-year-old.
We heard that in 8th grade he was smoking marijuana. He was evil and had it coming. Did you know George Floyd might have stolen $20 whole?
Oh, I think this is him talking about Arbery and Floyd's cases.
Oh my God, these black people, they're so evil. Did you know that Trayvon Martin it was caught in school maybe smoking pot, and that's why Zimmerman had to murder him in cold blood. He had it coming. He had it coming.
Dude.
So I can understand if
Cenk really is a fucking retard, legitimately, dude. Like, that guy is legitimately mentally fucking ill. And it makes sense, because if I'm not mistaken, Cenk took the fucking jabs willingly, is what it is. So, not to mention, he is now falsely trying to run for president of the United States when he can't even legally run for the president of this country because he's not a fucking U.S. citizen. He was never born in this fucking nation. So he's literally running a fucking fake-ass campaign for the presidency, knowingly fleecing people, has not been arrested on various RICO Act charges at this point, which he should be for money laundering, etc. there. Not to mention, Cenk is a big-ass piece of shit in general, because he literally named his stupid fucking company the Young Turks off the Armenian genocide of the same name. One of the groups involved in that one. So, and then refuses to actually admit that the whole thing was based on Armenian genocide, is what it was there. Not to mention, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the past, Cenk has actually even gone as far as to basically whitewash history and claim the Armenian genocide never even happened at all. So, yeah, the guy's just a giant fucking piece of shit cunt bitch entirely, who honestly needs to get his ass beat in the streets, is what it is, dude. Not to mention the fact that Cenk is the reason why AOC is in Congress to this day, actually, because it was his stupid ass fucking company, etc., like that, funding her entire retard campaign there in New York back in 2018. So, anyway. But let's hear the rest of Cenk's stupidity. Here's what it is. It's about another 30 seconds or so.
Conservatives and right-wingers have done that, and so you're just frustrated and don't want to hear it.
Okay, so that's Tim basically pushing back.
So I can understand if conservatives and right-wingers have done that, and so you're just frustrated and don't want to hear it, but I'm not doing that.
It's in the Ahmaud Arbery case and the George Floyd case, you're taking the most extreme cases with the most clear racism, with the most clear murders, and you're trying to nuance it. And what I'm telling you, Tim, and what has made me uncomfortable in the past about you, which is what I was trying to get past, is that attracts a huge right-wing audience,
because they want somebody to excuse the death of Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd. And when you seem to excuse it with your nuance, then they go, yes,
I don't care what.
Finally, somebody's sticking up for white people killing black people. Come on, don't tell me there aren't people in your audience that think that. There's tons of people who think that.
Never forget that while saying that bullshit, there is video evidence, a compilation of video evidence actually out there, of Cenk Uygur dropping N-bomb after N-bomb on the Young Turks and other stupid-ass podcasts over the years. And I'm talking about hard R, buddy. So, yeah. Who's the real racist, Cenk? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's you fucking piece of shit. Honestly, the best thing that could have happened in this country was when Alex Jones confronted Cenk Uygur if he had knocked his fucking ass out cold right then and there, dude. That would have been the best thing to happen during that confrontation. Was Cenk just getting his ass beat in the streets by fucking Alex Jones, man. So, anyway. And then you got this 2-minute clip here of Cenk and Tim talking about Antifa in Portland and then the Chaz.
Call them Antifa now. I mean, it's like a vague term for groups of left-wing ideologues who dress up and attack people. I know that if I go to if we have people on the show who rag on Trump, the responses we get are, you are wrong. If we go to places and we challenge the left, we get threats of violence and death.
Mm-hmm.
No, not that. But
what? What? Oh my god, dude. There is literally, again, video fucking evidence, you retard Cenk Uygur, of the murder of Aaron J. Danielson in Portland, Oregon, by at least a dozen Antifa and BLM terrorists. By the way, only one of which was ever confronted by the cops and then killed, being that piece of shit Michael Reinhold, who actually was the fucking trigger man in that case. But yeah, when you actually look at the video evidence there, you have some piece of shit filming this stuff. You have about 10, 12 Antifa walking past him, telling him to lower the camera and make sure they're not being filmed or whatever the case be. So he's like filming shoes, essentially, is what it is. And then you had all these people like that. You had a few people in a vehicle as well, for that matter. There was only about, I think maybe on the sidewalk, there's about maybe 8 or 10 of them is what it was there. And then there was like another 2 or 3 that were in a Dodge Charger, I believe is what it was. Or Dodge Challenger, one of the two. I'm not sure. It was one of those kind of cars. And yeah, that particular vehicle, though, at that time was a known car around that area of BLM/Antifa terrorists. And when you actually watch the entirety of that footage of Aaron's death there on that sidewalk, you can see these motherfuckers jump out of this vehicle with flashlights like this and shit, trying to find and collect shell casings that Michael shot. And obviously, you know, the shell casings ejected from his firearm that he killed Aaron with is what it was then. But yeah, none of these other people were ever found and convicted. And why I'm not surprised by that, when you have Soros DA Mike Schmidt being the sack of shit there, and I believe it's Mammoth County is what it's called there. So, yeah, it's a bunch of crap entirely, dude. Like, it's a total fucking lie, dude. Cenk is a fucking lying sack of shit, dude. I swear to God, everything that comes out of that guy's mouth is a fucking lie after another lie is what it is. Which is not surprising when you're a habitual lying piece of fucking shit, honestly, dude. Like Cenk Uygur is. You're going to be used to lying, is what it is. Like, that's what I'm saying. And the worst thing is when you look back at Susan Wojcicki, who used to be the CEO of this company right now, of YouTube back in the day, or president of YouTube, whatever it was there, she basically made fucked up deals with Cenk back in the day, dude, to promote the Young Turks bullshit. Mind you, it's total fucking racism all the fucking time, man. It's racist shit against right-wingers. It's racist shit against white people. It's racist shit against fucking even minorities, for that matter. And then you have other crap, too, for that matter, where it's basically just him, like, shit-talking everybody he can without getting his ass beat is what it is, dude. Like, that dude is the worst representation of any media ever. Legitimately. Anyway, continuing on with Cenk's bullshit here.
Dude, we were swatted. I was swatted 15 times last year.
Yeah, and then Tim called him out.
I was swatted 15 times last year. We had.
Oh, you were?
We were swatted 15 times.
Yeah, I saw that you were swatted at least once, and I said on air, I hate that. I
despise that.
Spies, infiltrators. I mean, the degree of threats that we got were insane.
Yeah. So look, there's
Of course, Chonk hates being people doing like doxing or swatting or whatever the case be, because he knows he's probably going to get it happen to him at one time in the future. Is what it is. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Chonk Uygur was one of the people fucking swatting Tim Pool for that matter, dude. You know, like that's the thing, right? Like Chonk knows where Tim's fucking studio is. There, he could easily do it, man. So could other people have been there in the past. As Chonk said, or as not Chonk, as Tim said there, you know, there was infiltrators and stuff like that in the thing. And that's the problem that you got to worry about too, right? When you start getting something like that is as big as Tim's thing is. It's these people that just want to sit there and be, you know, coming in as like a friend or compatriot or whatever the case be. And turns out they're just some sack of shit is what it is that's just trying to fuck you over. And their whole thing is to infiltrate your company or organization, whatever it is. Find out where you live. You have a SWAT team sent to your house to try to kill you is what it is. You know, and that's why doxing and stuff like that is so terrible in the 21st century. That's why, honestly, I'm, you know, a victim of doxing myself right now from people in the Second Amendment community here. Like, I am to the point, man, where we need to have nationwide felony laws on the books for that kind of stuff, legitimately. And if you can be proven to have done that kind of shit, you should probably be in jail right now, honestly, for it. I don't care which side of the political aisle you're falling, is what it is. If you're going to knowingly fuck with somebody's life like that, you don't need to be fucking walking free after that for a while of your life, is what it is. So, anyway. Going back to Chonk versus Tim here.
strand of that on the extreme left, and it's always been around. Yeah, so look, there's a strand of that on the extreme left.
A strain of that.
It's always been around.
It's the entirety of the extreme left, you fucking idiot.
It got so muted. It's now back to rising up. It's bubbling up, and I'm worried about it. You know, whether it's tankies or whoever they are. I don't really like the Antifa thing. You guys hyped up so much.
Fuck is tankies?
They never arrived, right?
They did.
Like there was barely any Antifa. Meanwhile, it was like,
dude, you can just tell this motherfucker's lying right now. Like, straight up. Like, he's just lying his ass off right there.
Right-wing militias everywhere. Right? There's like 2 Antifa dudes in Portland. But there are extreme left, and they are getting more extreme.
How many people,
now?
How many people died in the occupation in Seattle?
I don't know.
I think 3.
Yeah,
It's particularly disconcerting when far leftists with rifles take over several city blocks.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
And they unloaded 300 rounds into an SUV with 2 teenagers in it. I don't know if they both died. There were, I think, maybe potentially 3 deaths specifically there. But it's like, hey, that's what we're talking about. That happened, you know?
So that definitely happened. And that's what I mean by
the George Floyd occupation as well in Minneapolis. You also had shootings. There's a video of a car driving through and they're unloading rounds into that car. So
there's a difference.
See, my problem with that is, so Tim brings those things up, but he doesn't talk about actually is the murder of Soria Turner in Atlanta, Georgia, which is another one of these fucking things by BLM terrorism. For those who don't know who Soria Turner is, she was I believe, 6 or 7-year-old girl back in 2020. When you had the Wendy's being burned out there in Atlanta, Georgia area over that other piece of shit who tried to, he had actually stolen the cop's taser and then tried to fucking tase the cop with it is what it was. And then got shot in response by one of the police officers. By the way, that particular guy whose name I can't recall offhand is what it is, but he's not one of these dick criminals is what it is there. He was literally fucking wasted behind the wheel of the vehicle, and the only reason the cops were called out there was because this dude was so drunk / high behind the fucking wheel that he had fallen asleep in the fucking Wendy's drive-thru, and people were like, why the fuck is this guy in my way? I'm trying to get food here. And so they called the cops to come out and do like a welfare check is what it was. And yeah, as soon as they opened the fucking door, the guy like fucking came back to life essentially out of his dope high is what it was. Fucking freaked out, you know, resisted arrest, grabbed the fucking cop's taser, tried to tase the cop with it, boom, 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 gets fucking unloaded on. Of course, that piece of shit fucking ambulance chasing sack of garbage, Ben Crump, who should have been disbarred after Trayvon Martin's case, based on the fact that Ben Crump, when he was the lawyer for Trayvon's family versus George Zimmerman at the trial there, told multiple fucking people on Trayvon's defense to lie under oath about what really happened that night, including Trayvon's, I believe it was Chick, who was the girl at the time. Yeah, he told her to lie under oath, but people lie under oath and stuff like that. He should have been disbarred nationwide at that point. The fact that Ben Crump is still barred in any in this country right now is exactly what's wrong with our justice system currently, honestly. Because you have this ambulance chasing piece of shit black supremacist and Ben Crump, who is able to walk around free and take up bullshit ass cases, but conveniently takes up all the cases that always involve dead black criminal versus police. It's never white person killed by the cops. It's always black people killed by the cops. And it turns out it's always a black criminal with a long ass conviction where it's a lot of felony charges previous to that they kept getting back out of office, or kept getting revolving door justice system on the streets then, to where you now have them being able to do this shit and being, doing whatever they did last that killed them in that police encounter then. Yeah, it's a bunch of shit. But yeah, you had multiple BLM terrorists there at the Atlanta area for that Wendy's area, basically blocking it off back in 2020. Some riots then. You had Soria Turner and her family driving into that area. You had these pieces of shit fucking unload on the vehicle. I think it was, I don't know, was the father driving or the mom was driving, whichever one it was. But they were trying to turn it around or whatever. And it was, I believe, when they were trying to turn it around, you literally had a bunch of bullets strike the back of the vehicle, and that's when they killed Soria. That's what it was. So, yeah, it's just disgusting. And specifically in that case, because we're going to talk about that for a minute, actually, here, over here. Yeah, because we have multiple things for this, for various. They actually caught the guys that did kill her then, and they were arrested and charged with her murder then. Yeah, September 7th, 2021, Soria Turner shooting. Suspects pled not guilty. There, okay, she was 8 years old. Yeah, an 8-year-old's death. Then you had February 11th, 2022, Soria Turner's father speaks out after judge denies motion to sever cases. That won't come up. It's getting stupid. Then you obviously have a grand jury indicts 2 men. The death of Soria Turner, that was August of 2021. And then you had gang investigation leads to second arrest in Soria Turner's murder. Okay, let me look that up now. Trying to see if there's anything new to this, because I thought they were convicted already. Maybe it was they were just going to trial. Okay, that's what it was. Rayshard Brooks was the fucking idiot that tried to shoot the cops with the taser. It was that fucking guy that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, family of Soria Turner speaks out. August 2021. Second indicted. Defendant's criminal history can be used as evidence in trial. Okay, so that's where it was at. Was December 2022 then. So it looks like maybe that was the last update, really. Yeah, and then it was July 6, 2020. Atlanta shooting, 8-year-old Soria Turner killed. Of course, the media would never really talk about this except locally, because you notice that there's not really even like obviously Newsweek, I guess technically would be what you call it, and they said it for like a day is what it was, and then you had like CNN pick up on it for like a day or so is what it was, maybe like a small snippet or something like that. But yeah, like almost all this shit right now is all like various local media then. So. But anyway. Yeah, it's just going different other stuff then beyond that. So, yeah, it's just disgusting, dude, entirely. So it looks like really it's just still going through the justice system. That's what it is, almost a year later now, which makes sense because, again, it goes back to our, backlog of cases since the lockdowns, dude. You got cases that, should have been dealt with back in 2020 that are just now being dealt with here in 2023 is what it is. So you got like 3 years of backlog cases and stuff. Which I would think, sorry, man, you murder a child like that, like your ass should be at the fucking front of the line. and you should be denied all kinds of bail. You should be denied any kind of fucking whatever, and you should be smacked with the fucking book at that point. You know, you should die like you lived. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. If you're gonna sit there and kill this small child with a firearm, that's how you should die, honestly, dude. By a fucking firing squad. So, anyway. But let's see where else we're at right now. Is there any others of this idiot Cenk talking about stupid shit? I feel like there's one more in this, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, this was the almost 4-minute clip of this idiot Cenk talking. Most of the domestic terrorists in America right now are right-wingers. Oh, you mean a bunch of the fucking false narratives are right-wingers? Or is it you have the leftist-ass FBI only targeting people on the right, like they targeted the March for Liberty people, which is what Dinesh D'Souza's new police documentary is about. So, anyway.
At this point, the FBI, which is historically massively right-wing, that I give the FBI some sort of...
What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? Oh my god. You are a fucking retard, Cenk Uygur. The fact that you've not been exiled from this country's soil is everything wrong with this nation right now, dude. Oh my god, you're a fucking dumbass, bro. No. The FBI has been historically corrupt as fuck and left-wing as hell, bro. I should know as someone who's been fucking federally swatted in 2019 from these cocksuckers.
Areas, not backed up by a single fact. But so the right wing, and so the FBI is saying, hey guys, we wish it weren't the case, but most of the domestic terrorists in America now are right-wingers. And they're
fucking
all trying
lie.
to kill anyone who disagrees with Donald
Lie.
Trump.
I just think that's wrong, and I think
it's a fucking lie, Tim. Say it like it is. This is why I honestly can't stand Tim Pool sometimes, dude, because he is such a fucking pussy. Like, he'll never call this motherfucker out to his face at that point. He'll be like, no, Cenk, you were wrong. You're a fucking asshole and a piece of shit liar. Go fuck yourself. That's what he needs to be telling Cenk to his face at that point, honestly, dude.
And by the way, I just want to be clear. That doesn't mean all right-wingers or a majority of right-wingers are terrorists. It just means...
Okay. You see what he just did there? You guys see what he just did there, right? I don't know if you see what he just did there. Cenk pulls it back a little bit, right? Because he knows he just opened his ass up to slander and defamation lawsuits from every right-wing voter in this country. So then he has to pull it back enough to where he can then go back to that fucking clip that can be used against him as evidence now in future lawsuits and be like, no. See, I pulled it back and said that it wasn't all right-wingers. It was just the majority of those on the right that are being the ones doing this stuff. That's still slander and libel, you fucking asshole. It's still literally defamation of character, etc. And you can still have your ass sued for all the shit, Cenk, you fucking douchebag. Honestly, I'm to the point of just doing that right now, dude, for real. I'm to the point of just suing this fucking cunt for every goddamn dollar he has right now, dude. I may just do that, actually. I may just seriously look into getting a two-way lawyer right now, or not two-way, but like constitutional rights lawyer or whatever the case be, and just open up the biggest fucking can of whoop ass on Cenk Uygur right now, dude, and take that motherfucker to bankruptcy court is what it is. Take every fucking dollar that he and the Young Turks have right now, and just pull that shit as a class action then, so that everybody else and their brother can jump on it too, man. Because I know for a fact I'm not the only one that hates this motherfucker with a passion right now, dude. And Cenk needs to be taken down 10 pegs at this point. And the best way to do it is class action this son of a bitch out of fucking complete bankruptcy is what it is. So, get that smug ass to the fucking cleaners is what it is, man. Take every dollar he has is what it'll be then.
Of the terrorists that are around now, which is a small group, right? Unfortunately, most of them are right-wingers at this point.
I think.
Okay, let's go back on that for a minute now.
And by the way, I just want to be clear. That doesn't mean all right-wingers.
Let's go back on the whole thing right now.
So the right wing, so the FBI is saying, hey guys, we wish it weren't the case, but most of the domestic terrorists in America now are right-wingers. And they're all...
Okay, So first he says most domestic terrorists are right-wingers. Okay.
Trying to kill anyone who disagrees with Donald Trump.
I just think that
And then falsely claims that they're trying to kill anyone who disagrees with Trump.
it's wrong, and I think I certainly think there are right-wing.
And by the way, I just want to be clear. That
Now he's pulling it back because he knows in his own mind that he has opened himself up to slander, defamation, and libel lawsuits.
doesn't mean all right-wingers or a majority of right-wingers are terrorists. It just means of the terrorists that are...
Yeah, and now he's trying to equate it to a small group. Again, knowing he could have his ass sued by a fuck ton of people at this point.
around now, which is a small group, right? Unfortunately, most of them are right-wingers at this point.
I think it's completely inverted, but the bias comes from the extremity of the actions taken by the terrorists. So you'll end up with a story of a guy, perhaps Maine. I think the story is more about what happened in Maine. He was mentally unwell and he was targeting his friends, is what they're reporting now. He thought his friends were talking behind his back and he went nuts. But
yeah, that was the thing too. Like, I don't know about him, they're being his friends or not, but that's what they're saying about like him being, you know, like targeting that cornhole tournament with a bunch of deaf people. That is what it was. So I don't know if they'd be his friends per se or not, but yeah, it's just the whole thing's just sussy as fuck. Is what it is.
By the way, they're all mentally unwell.
of course.
Nobody's...
They're all mentally unwell. So you're talking about yourself there, right, Chonk? Because that's what you are, dude. You're a fucking nut job.
It's not, of course, because the right wing says anytime it's a white person or a right winger, they go mentally unwell. And I go, and I'm, because I'm honest, I agree, right? And so, and they'll have their half of them will have their manifestos, like
Oh, you mean the federally created manifestos, like the except for obviously the Nashville one that, what's it been now, 3, 4, 5 months now, and we still have yet to see the Tranny Festo. Very convenient that's still being held up, by the way. Also very convenient that you had the judge in that case in Nashville holding up that Tranny Festo being recently targeted with an attempted assassination. So, yeah, very, very, very strange, man. Very strange shit for sure, obviously. But then you got the one down in Florida there, where it was the dude shooting up that dollar store, whatever the case be. That shit gets released immediately, et cetera, et cetera.
Charlottesville, he had a manifesto about race wars and how black people were terrible. And that's why he went inside a black church and shot him up. El Paso was against Latinos. There's the synagogue shootings. So these are...
Okay, so that one's actually kind of half bullshit in general, dude, with the El Paso thing, especially when I talked about this many times now. Goer Garlic Festival, El Paso, Dayton, all federally done false flags in this country. Why? To grab guns, to push gun control, just like every other one of these motherfuckers is, dude. And of course, they're going to push the fucking, bullshit manifesto. If I'm not mistaken, actually, come to think of it even, I believe that the El Paso thing was pretty much just some bullshit copy and paste Great Replacement thing entirely. Like it was just pages straight out of the Great Replacement fucking book is what it was there. And then you obviously had Christchurch being done after, what was that? Was that around this? Actually, I'm trying to remember now. Was Christchurch before or after that? Now that I'm thinking about it, because it might have actually been a Christchurch copy and paste manifesto. I know for a fact that the top supermarket shooting that they claimed was like some fucking race thing or whatever the case be, that was a straight up fucking copy and paste of Christchurch for sure. So, yeah. Anyway.
Political, there's no question. But no one who's mentally well goes into a synagogue or a church and shoots people. But that is also true of Muslims. When it comes to right wing, they're like, oh, yeah, that's so true when it comes to right wing. It's so true. They're just mentally unwell. They don't represent us. Muslims. Oh, it's all Muslims. It's all Muslims. They're all mentally well. That's why they shot up people. They don't have any mental health problems. Their problem is that they're Muslim. Well, no. That's
No, Chonk. The problem is that Islam is a fucking cult. Their entire ideology is kill, 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 kill the fucking infidel, etc. in the Quran itself, buddy. If you actually read that. But of course you're not going to do that because you're an illiterate fucking retard who doesn't actually look into fucking history or actually read things. So you're never actually going to admit that shit. So yeah, Chonk, maybe you should actually look into fucking actual, books, dude. and read some shit, because you'll actually see it right there. And hell, you talk to these people, they'll tell you to your fucking face at that point that their whole entire thing is to take over the countries and make them fucking Islamic, dude. Implement Sharia law, etc. Hell, they talked about it in Canada recently when they were having those rallies up there for pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas and stuff like that. The one dude was basically straight up telling people about taking over Canada and making Sharia law happen there. They tried to do the same thing in Houston, Texas and stuff like that. What was it, 5-10 years ago now? When, I'm trying to even think how long ago it was now. I want to say it was, no, it would have been, wait, was it before or after Owen Schroyer started working for Alex Jones? I'm trying to remember now. I think it was before, actually. So it would have been like 20, maybe it was around 2017, 2018, somewhere in there, where it was like some crazy rally thing there in like one of the major cities in Texas there. And it was them literally it was these Islamic terrorists literally talking about bringing Sharia law to America and basically importing Sharia law here and doing the whole takeover of this country so they could have Sharia law skirt the U.S. Constitution is what it was back then. So, and of course, you have them, you know, every day of the week basically walking across our fucking border now because it's all open and shit. But no, it's not a takeover at all, is it, Chomp? No, not according to your fucking piece of shit ass bro that denies the Armenian genocide, etc. there.
Exactly, bigotry. No, all those dudes have massive mental health problems as well. So instead of saying, hey, I hate black people, they're saying I hate the West or whatever it is.
But so here's my point.
So wait, is he trying to say that they... I'm confused as fuck what he's... I don't even know what he's saying there, man. I think he's trying to say that people like me would say shit like that about Islamic terrorism, but then also say that it's Islamic mental illness and stuff against the West or whatever. I don't know. Chomp's retarded is what it is, dude.
The examples you gave are these extreme examples that are horrifying we try to prevent. And these people are, they're acts of evil, abject evil. On the left, you get what I would call more blunt terror.
Exactly.
So, for instance, the George Floyd riots. When you had small towns across this country, Michael Tracy's reporting, showing a grocery store that's windows smashed out, and they spray paint on the boarded up window saying, please don't hurt us. When you have people in Berkeley, I was at a bar in Berkeley, and they had Trump sucks, Trump is a pig on the window. And I'm having a drink, and I asked, this is like 2017, I was like, you guys not big Trump fans? And the bartender's like, no, we like him. And I'm like, why would you put that in the window? If we don't, they'll smash our windows out and attack us.
See, and that's the kind of pathetic shit I'm talking about right there. So you have all that crap going on across this country for years now. And what's even more retarded, right, is that you actually have all that bullshit happening.
Exactly.
Wow. You have...
So, for instance, the George Floyd riot.
Okay, sorry, I was getting back to the point there because my shit had popped back up. But yeah, the entire point is, though, what Tim was saying there about that bar. This is exactly what we saw, again, during the Floyd riots and during every other, riot in this country, really is what it is, that the left has done. You will have people literally spray painting on plywood, black-owned business, small mom-and-pop shop, please do not destroy our shit or whatever. And what happens? No, these people fucking toss a brick through the window anyway, is what it is, dude. One of the best stories that came out of that whole thing was, I believe, in Minnesota there, where you had this random guy who was a black dude, worked his fucking ass off his entire life to make an American dream for himself. Got to the point where he was days away from opening his first ever restaurant, and what the fuck happened? You had fentanyl head Floyd OD on the fucking thing. You had dumbass Derek Chauvin put the fucking knee on the fucking shoulder blade area. And then from there, you had the fucking race riots kick off. You had this man's entire shop fucking windows smashed in like crazy. As he was coming in there, pieces of shit, black criminals in the fucking neighborhood trying to steal his safe right in front of him. To the point where he had to literally move the place to another city. I'm not even sure if he ever opened the business or not at that point, because he had everything taken from him from a community he thought cared about him. They obviously did not. You know who did care about him, though? A lot of fucking people on social media sites like GoFundMe who helped get this man a bunch of money in donations and helped get him moved out of that fucking shithole area to some place that actually cared about him. And that's exactly what happened in that story. He left the fucking city. You know? And that's what's even more retarded. You have these people that would go around there, and there was a group of trainees, actually. I remember watching one of the live streams there. It was a group of black trainees, actually, who were running around with masks on, admitting on camera to some random dude that was filming that they had torched an Arby's, a Wendy's, a Popeyes, I believe, and then like some other like restaurant, like a McDonald's or something like that. That's what it was, like a chain place. The thing about that is, though, all those chain places, they're really not chain places. Yes, they're a chain name brand place is what it is. However, they're a franchised organization, meaning someone in that community is paying X amount of dollars to use that franchise's name to make that company there. So you just took what is essentially a mom and pop startup as a franchisee and burned their fucking business to the ground, costing them everything. That's what happened there in 2020. And then you wonder why when these fuckers started talking about coming to small towns, people were like, you come here, we're going to kill you. And that's what they did, man. You had a bunch of arson going on there in Washington State, up in the upper, rural areas there. And you literally had people telling the people that were committing the arson and stuff like that, be like, come here and try that shit, dude, and we're just going to smoke your ass out. You had literal fucking literally plywood signs out there. There was one I remember because it was distinctive, and it was talking. The people that left it there were like something along the lines of, how was it? It was like no trespassing. Essentially, fuck around and find out. If you come here, they're never gonna find your body, et cetera, kind of thing. And it's like, don't try that shit, basically. So yeah, like it was like straight up, dude. Like, it was a straight up threat to the fucking criminals. It's like, yeah, come here and find out, basically. Like, play the big backhoe game, win the big backhoe game prize is what it'd be, man. So, anyway. Going back to the rest of Tim versus Chonk here.
Out, and they spray paint on the boarded up window saying, please don't hurt us. When you have people in Berkeley, I was at a bar in Berkeley and they had Trump sucks, Trump is a pig on the window. And I'm having a drink, and I asked, this is like 2017, I was like, you guys not big Trump fans? And the bartender's like, no, we like him. And I'm like, why would you put that in the window? If we don't, they'll smash our windows out and attack us.
It's pathetic.
People live in, have you been to Berkeley? There's a Burger King with a big sign in the window saying, we are not a corporate chain, we are family owned, please don't hurt us. I'm like, why would you live that way?
See, and that's the kind of shit I'm talking about, dude. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It wasn't that kind of thing. And that's the thing, too. Like, there is kind of corporatized chaining and stuff there of, a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Wendy's and Arby's, whatever the case be. But then in most cases, it is like some franchisee that's like a one-person franchise. That's another place that was burned down during the riots there in Minnesota, was a fucking random Domino's pizza. And again, it was not a fucking chain place. It was a family-owned franchisee. So yeah, now that's nothing. There's video evidence of people going back there in the last year or so here, and it was showing what these different places used to be, and it was a lot of considered like chain places, but they were all franchised by single people is what it was, like a single family or whatever the case be there, and you had them. It used to be McDonald's, used to be a Burger King, a Taco Bell, whatever it was, that was, burned out after the fact. And now it's an empty parking lot. So these fucking morons in this city just cost themselves not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, whatever the hell it was, eateries in one shot. It's like the old woman, this elderly black woman. who was talking about one of the grocery stores that was burned to the ground during this whole thing. Again, I think it was in Minnesota. Or it might have been some part of Wisconsin. And was discussing how previously her local grocery place was like a 10-minute walk from her apartment building. But because these fucking fuckknuckles decided it was a good idea to go commit terrorism, go commit arson, etc., all kinds of domestic terrorist acts, now this old woman has to get on a bus that drives an hour out of her area so that she can go to a grocery store an hour away, get 2, maybe 3 bags of food with her, because, you know, she's elderly as shit. She can't really carry a whole lot. And do that several times a week now. This is how food deserts are created, by the way. These fucking idiots that want to talk about food deserts and shit like that, yet they never say a goddamn word about how it's their own fucking stupidity creating this shit. You know, there's a reason why the Walmarts around Chicago, Illinois, have all shut down now. Because you literally had a bunch of black criminals in that fucking place, video evidence of them literally stealing shit off the fucking aisles in the grocery department and eating it on camera. And then even worse, giving it to small children who had no idea that anything was wrong. And it's like, oh yeah, just have a cookie, girl. Like, she had no idea she was committing thievery. But in reality, she really wasn't. It was the dumbass fucking adults that were with her that were doing so, and they were making her an accessory after the fact. And you saw that time and time again. You see this every fucking time, man, when you got assholes walking into places, not even just here in America, but overseas too, for that matter. You know, going back to what Cenk was saying about the whole Islam thing. I was watching a video the other day on Twitter/X there. It was this fucking guy over in London who was obviously an Arabic background. Dude's walking around a grocery store, pulls open about 6 different bottles, takes a swig of something out of them, closes them up, puts them back on the fucking shelf, walks around, grabs some random grapes off of a bunch, eats them on camera, walks around another place, grabs another piece of food, fucking eats some of that, throws it back on the shelf, etc. If that was here in America, that dude would be arrested and charged with at least 6 to 12 felonies for food tampering. Each individual charges, by the way, each one would be federal felonies at that point. But yet, because he's overseas, they have some bullshit slap on the wrist laws is what it is. Like, it's just so fucking infuriating, dude. It really is. And again, this is what happens when you turn a high-trust society into a fucking bullshit society. Because of the forced diversity, because of the forced multiculturalism, etc. there. Of cultures that will never mix into the actual melting pot, is what it is. You know, that's the entire point of having a melting pot, is that you're actually going to melt into the fucking pot and be willing to embrace the culture with which you are coming into, not forcing your own fucking bullshit backward ass culture onto that fucking country, burning the flags of that nation, etc. Which is what Islam does everywhere they go, by the way. So, anyway.
You look at May 29th, when far leftists firebombed the White House grounds and St. John's Church.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was in Trump's
this is
administration,
not
by the way.
major news. There's no committee hearings. But if you're somebody who lives, I'll give you a more recent example. When I'm in Reston, Virginia, having dinner with the team here, a guy comes up and says, "You're not going to hear this a lot in Reston, but I'm a big fan." And I was like, actually, like 4 people already have come up. And okay, that's the blunt terror of, in a town I live in, I have to whisper, and I'm scared that someone might find out I listen to Timcast. When in reality,
It's
people
pathetic.
who worked there and other people had already said this, but they all seem to say the same things. I'm scared to express my opinions.
That's not terrorism.
Yes, it is,
But
Cenk,
it
you
is.
fucking
No, hold on.
idiot.
People who are living
Let
in
me
terror
clarify.
for political reasons.
No,
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and debunk Chonk's bullshit right then and there, dude, because we're just going to go ahead and grab up an actual definition of terrorism, you fucking retard, Cenk Uygur. Terrorism, by textbook definition is, and I quote right here, the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, specifically against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. Fuck you, Cenk Uygur, you scumbag, sack of shit, leftist asswipe. I really want to fight this guy, man. I swear to Christ. I really do. That's what we need to start having to do, is like YouTube fights at this point. Like myself and others versus idiots like Cenk Uygur, etc. So, like I said, man, Cenk really is fucking retarded. Like he is legitimately not all there in the head, is what it is. So, let's see. This was about an hour ago. Going back to that Myth-Informed channel there. We had, let's see, where's it here now? Quote, that's the point. It's you have them saying it. It's to have them saying it. Tim Pool on why free speech means allowing Cenk Uygur to make his arguments and allowing his audience to decide. All right, we got to hear about this one there.
I'm so excited. Okay. Clint Torres says, howdy, people. Tim, today you gave a master class in dealing with the
Clint Torres. I recognize that name. Wasn't that one of the guys who used to follow NEA back in the day?
delusional. I swear you deserve an honorary PhD in clinical psychology. This morning was an awesome conversation with Cenk Uygur. And for those that watched, you probably noticed there was one point of contention when I began discussing George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. Cenk got very heated about that one, did not want to hear any arguments or points that it was racist. And I felt we're better off focusing on solutions and ideas and try to pull away from what I thought was devolving things into an irrational WWE-style drama fight. But that was probably the only point at which I felt like it got to that point. I see. Okay,
we're not going to listen to the rest of that, though. That's just Tim just going off, so it is. All right, what's that one? Let's see, this is a different one. It says, we do nothing because we already, let's see. Yeah, we do nothing because we are already being attacked by cartels, and we do nothing. Libby Emmons responds bluntly to a question of how we would handle Mexicans attacking us across our international border. Okay, that was a different one entirely. Jack Posobiec thing. Trying to see if there's any other chonk ones here. The Jack Posobiec thing. Okay, that's just Chonk going on this retard rant for fucking fentanyl head Floyd, etc. Let's see. Call everything racist until you can control it. The woke. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, this is another good one. This motherfucking dumbass, Cenk Uygur, like I said earlier, who's disqualified from even running for the presidency right now because he's not an American citizen, then tries to falsely claim that other non-American citizen, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who again can't legally run for the presidency, would win a landslide and beat Donald Trump for the Republican presidential nominee. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro?
Well, it does depend on one thing, which is me winning my court case. Okay.
Oh, I see.
You're not gonna win that case, you dumb motherfucker.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. So Arnold doesn't agree with this election is stolen. Arnold's not a Trump guy, okay? But he is a Republican in two very important ways that today would resonate.
He's a rhino sack of shit, bro.
And I wish that a Democrat would do it instead, okay? But one, since he's already rich and he loves this country.
Yeah, he loves the country so much he says, screw your freedoms during the lockdowns. Again, you're a delusional shithead, Cenk Uygur, you fucking lying prick. Arnold's an asshole, dude. Arnold, like, seriously, dude. As I said, what was it, twice now in the past two casts before this? Arnold Schwarzenegger's father is a literal fucking Nazi, bro. The guy was an SS soldier who Schwarzenegger, when he came over to the United States in his 20s, was literally praising this man as a Mr. Olympian and shit like that for years of his life in the United States until people finally said, hey, Arnold, shut the fuck up about your Nazi-ass dad. We don't want to hear that shit here. And then he finally did. He finally got the fucking message after like a decade is what it was.
Hates corruption, and he speaks out against it.
Hates corruption my ass. Schwarzenegger's one of the most corrupt motherfuckers ever, dude.
A non-objectionable Republican against
Jesus
corruption.
fucking
You're gonna win
Christ.
in a landslide, if you ask me. Okay, but hold on. It gets better for you guys. He's also hates the crime that has risen in places like California and the big cities.
Oh, you mean the crime that he literally helped create in California when he was the fucking governor of the state by creating jungle primaries that have allowed Democrats to steal every election since then. Well, you're never going to have another Republican governor ever again in California because of dumbass Schwarzenegger creating open primary / jungle primary bullshit there. God, you're fucking stupid, Chonk.
New York, Chicago, and South, right? You take a non-objectionable Republican who is not a corporate stooge, who's against corruption and against crime, that brother wins in a landslide. Okay?
Yeah, except that person doesn't exist, jackass, unless they're named Donald J. Trump.
Now, I think that's a stone cold reality. I don't know. I don't want a Republican to win, but I'm telling you the reality of my political analysis.
Bigger picture, perhaps you're correct. Smaller picture, that he said, "Screw your freedom." You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That was bad for him.
Yeah. No. The Trump people would swarm him. I get it, but like Mike Pence isn't going to beat Donald Trump. Okay?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, because Mike Pence is a fucking Judas traitor in this country, you idiot. Who should obviously be in prison with Pelosi and everybody else helped steal the 2020 election, you fucking ass clown chonk.
Of course, right? Nikki Haley isn't going to beat Donald Trump.
Again, because she's a neocon fucking rhino sack of shit, you moron.
But Arnold...
Ron DeSantis is not going to be Donald.
No, Ron DeSantis. None of those guys are. But Arnold could fight back.
No, he couldn't.
Okay? And Arnold has a credibility of not being inside the system.
Arnold's
and
a
so
pussy.
They'll say to him, "Oh yeah, you said this and it hurt our feelings, and you said that and it hurt our feelings." And then Arnold,
no, it's you said this and you showed you were an un-American sack of shit. That's the entire point, Chong. You think people are just gonna let that shit rest, dude? No, we're gonna call you the fuck out on an asshole, and we're gonna fuck your shit up, is what it is, bro. By voting for someone else and making sure your dumbass never wins anything.
will say, "Yeah, I'm going to say more things that hurt your feelings." But at the end of the day, I'm going to get rid of corruption. I'm going to get rid of crime.
Bullshit, you are.
Look, I'm going to stop talking about it because I want a Democrat to win. Okay?
Yeah, what Chonk is actually saying is, oh, they're going to say all the right things, like, oh, what Schwami's doing right now is a Manchurian candidate, until they actually get into office and then go full dictator is what it is. While disqualifying themselves dozens of times, by the way, by saying, as president, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Chonk is such a fucking idiot. Yeah, somebody said here, Chonk is going to be Arnold's next movie. Schwarzenegger was literally kicking people out of his gym for not wearing masks while they were working out. Never about science, always about control. And Arnold fell in hook, line, and sinker. Let's see. Yeah, the Screw Your Freedom is finished with politics. No coming back from that. Let's see what some of the other people said here in this guy's comment section there real quick, and then we're going to finish off with this, actually, I think. Let's see. Right now, yeah, it's a campaign would just be Trump putting up the fuck your freedom quote over and over. Schwarzenegger, he's lost his mind. Somebody else said it's impossible for Arnold to run. You have to be born in the United States to be a president, and he was not. Schwarzenegger, screw your freedom. Arnold, screw your freedom, Schwarzenegger, as Corey was saying in our Freedom Friday cast, actually, earlier. Or was it after that? I'm not sure. I can't remember if it was during or after it. Either way, it was said that apparently the Schwarzenegger name is actually pretty much racial shit about, N-word. So I don't know how true that is. Like, I'm just gonna repeat what it was said to me is what it is. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by it, man, honestly. So anyway, somebody else said Arnold who? Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, screw your freedoms. Said, yeah, Arnold lost everything with the screw your freedom comment. You can't be president with a mindset like that. Also not eligible by birth anyway. Has Cenk ever been right about anything? No, he hasn't been. That's the entire point, dude. He's a lying sack of shit. Like I said, the man in that cast literally opened himself up to slander, defamation, libel, etc. multiple fucking times. Like everything you can sue someone for defaming your character and stuff like that, dude. That dude fucking said in that one clip, and then had to immediately pull it back because he realized, oh fuck, I just opened myself to a shitload of lawsuits from everybody. Is what it is now. So yeah, it's just fucking retarded, is what it is, man. Yeah, somebody else says not native born. Neither is Cenk. Out of touch, rich white man, meaning Schwarzenegger. Let's see, somebody else that didn't Schwarzenegger say something about freedom during lockdown time. Yes, he did, obviously. Let's see, somebody else said, does this guy Cenk have any credibility to begin with? I would say he lost it after that. Or he's talking about Schwarzenegger, I'm not sure. Either way, neither one of them's credibility is what it is. So, Cenk really is a fucking moron, though, dude. If you guys look up the post for the Patriot Education Network right now, I literally just posted to that person. I said Cenk must be smoking that good crack again. Because he really is a fucking crackhead, dude, legitimately. So Huh. Okay, I'm gonna listen to this one.
I went to Target.
Yeah, I want to hear this shit. This is a chick talking about groceries and the insane cost of groceries here. Yeah, let's see. Mom, this was $70 and you didn't even get anything before COVID. Grocery bill was $350 a month. Now it's $600 per month. They are inflating all the prices and paying us poverty wages. We cannot even afford to live in this country. We cannot afford to die in this country.
I went to Target yesterday and bought 2 bottles of hair product.
Oh, can't. Yep. So that's music in the background. On Halloween. Okay, so she bought, what did she say? 2 bottles of hair product, meaning shampoo, conditioner, whatever the case be, or something. Maybe some hairspray or something. A bag of trash bags and a single Halloween decoration. $70. Jesus Christ, man. With a 5% discount. Should say about her son there. Son's looking at the cart and going, Mom, this is $70. We didn't even get anything. Yeah, I know, kid. Doesn't even remember a time when you couldn't go 2-bedroom apartment in a decent area of town for $600 a month. Now 1-bedroom apartment in a mediocre part of town is $2,000. God damn, dude. Jesus Christ. Gas $5.50 a gallon, $65 to fill up the tank. Then she went on, says before COVID, $350 a month, now $600 a month for groceries. Buy the exact same groceries. Shit out of control. Let's see. What does this bourgeoisie think that the outcome of this is going to be? Can't possibly believe the extracting every last dime from the working class, inflating poverty. Okay, yeah, we're talking about what was talked about here then already. about poverty wages and stuff. And that's the whole point, dude. And that's exactly what they've said. You know, the whole Agenda 2030 thing right now. Great Reset, all that shit like that. It's all, you know, you will own nothing and you'll be happy kind of shit is what it is, dude. And I wonder if it's because it's like, you're going to be happy because they're going to put you on so many happy pills is what it is. Where it's just like, oh, just take your medication there, Sally. And it's just like a bottle of fucking drugs and shit. So I wouldn't be surprised by it, dude. See, then we got another disagreeable girl boss comes to the realization that men don't want women with septum piercings, muscles, and tattoos. What the fuck is with that, by the way? Like, every single chick, man, has these weird ass fucking nose rings, like right in their septum area. There's what it is. Like this chick right here, like it's right there, like a fucking boring is what it is, dude. Is what I'd call them. You're like a bull, like you're about to like go out there and do like some goring shit or whatever. Basically, it's just weird, man. Like this is the thing, right? I've never seen a chick on the center or the right that has one of those fucking piercings. It's always these left-tarded chicks is what it is, dude. These demonic fucking nuts that 99% of the time are pro-abortion is what it is. It's not 100% time pro-abortion. So, yeah, it's just some crazy shit entirely, man. Who knows, though? They're all a bunch of nuts. What the fuck? As of an hour ago, breaking news, United States has halted exports of most civilian firearms and ammunition for all non-governmental users for 90 days. That is not good. That is not good. This is some World War III watch shit right now, dude, while I'm live. Yeah, Raw Alert said that whole thing an hour ago, and then around the same time, Ian Miles Chong said, war footing. They're conserving ammo in anticipation for a massive war in the Middle East. Can't export ammo when you need it to fight the Iranians and possible other actors. Again, would make sense exactly why you have all these companies and like some insider people or whatever coming out and being like, there's stockpiles that are being basically held back is what it is. Which I think is exactly what it is, honestly. It's the fucking powers that be, you know, the puppets in place right now, your Biden, your Harris, etc. there, who know they're about to kick off World War III across this earth. And because of that, you basically have them yanking our stockpiles of ammunition. Meanwhile, they're importing the fucking third world into our country that you don't even know how many Islamic terrorists are part of that fucking people just blocking over open border system right now. So, yeah, shit's about to get real in this country, dude. And like I said many, many times, I believe truthfully, as of this week, because of, you know, that Mike Johnson guy being installed as the new Speaker of the House now, I think it's kicked off the fourth scenario is what it is, which is pretty much anybody but Jim Jordan would have been the people to kick it off then, whether it be Hakeem Jeffries being picked as Speaker, whether it be this Johnson guy as Speaker, whether it be, you know, Bowtie Mafia guy, McHenry. Something's going to happen very soon, I believe, where you're going to have a bunch of boots on the ground there in Israel, and it's going to be basically Afghanistan Airport 2.0, where you have a bunch of fucking 18 to 20-something-year-old kids there with no military experience at all, because all the guys that have military experience have now been kicked out of the military is what it is for woke diversity bullshit now. And you're going to have a bunch of stuff happen. You're going to have some dude or multiple people for that matter be like some kind of suicide bombers in there at one of these like checkpoint places or whatever, then, you know, kill a bunch of people in the ensuing chaos. And from that, you're going to have a bunch of very pissed off American families, mothers, fathers, etc., that just snap the way that the fucking guy in Maine did, honestly. Except in this case, it's going to be targeted rage against politicians then. And then that's going to open up a whole other can of worms, because it's going to be, you know, various American citizens targeting politicians for assassination. As well, it'll be on both sides of the aisle. And then from there, you're going to have, you know, probably Biden and company or whoever the hell the figurehead is at that time, declared martial law in this country, which is going to suspend the Constitution and going to stop any election from happening in 2024 right now. And that, I believe, is the truthful end game right now for these people. So, yeah, it's not good, man. It's not good at all. And it could even get worse than that, for that matter, because it could fall into multiple World War III/Civil War scenarios I talked about the other day. And it could be a mix of anything from 1 to 5, for that matter. Or it could be like 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, and 5 together or something. Where then you start adding in the Islamic terrorist sleeper cells all across this country. They're going to be activated. You got the Chi-Com sleeper cells that are going to be activated pretty soon, etc., etc. And yeah, it becomes a real bad thing, man. Not to mention, like I said in one of these casts the other day, you had might have been the Freedom Friday cast actually, where you have these African foreign nationals now being dropped off in the middle of the night in Georgia, don't speak a lick of English, and are clearly just there to be the fighting age males in some like UN gun grab or whatever the case be. So, yeah, not good, man. Not good at all. Not good at all. So, anyway. Trying to see if there's anything else I want to talk about here before I leave. Oh, yeah, you got the NYPD arresting hundreds of so-called protesters who shut down Grand Central Station while demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. Those people are all domestic terrorists, by the way, by definition. It's as simple as that, really. So, I can't really talk about that. Yeah, then we got CNN gets the wrong answer from a witness in Maine to the Maine shooting. I think this might be the guy that talked about getting a gun because they were talking about. Oh no, sorry, a different one. Yeah, one of the ones I saw on that Black Conservative guy's channel earlier. It was Black Conservative Perspective was what it is. He was the one talking about it, and it was there was some random dude there in Maine that was talked to by the mainstream media, and the guy was saying some shit about how do you put it now? Fuck. I'm trying to think. My mind is kind of going blank because I'm just so tired right now. It's almost 1 a.m. Yeah, that's what it was. So it was like CNN or local media or whatever talking to this guy, and then I think it was CNN picking it up or whatever then. And the dude was like talking about like, oh yeah, they're like, how'd you feel when the cops came out here and were like, gunned up and stuff like that? He's like, oh, it's happy as shit to see them because it means there was actually people armed around here to possibly stop this dude. And he's like, I wish I had a gun myself. So, and that's what it is, man. Like I said yesterday, when I walked into a local gun shop there up here in Canton is what it is. While I was standing in line waiting to check on myself with a mag and some ammo, there is what it was. You had two individuals in front of me, both in their either 50s or 60s, buying. I believe I know for a fact that one was buying a Glock, and I think the second one that was because there was one over here that was buying the Glock, and then there was a second guy like right in front of me. And I think he was also buying the Glock, but it was hard to tell. It was definitely a case of some kind. So it could have been a Glock, or it could have been like a Smith & Wesson or something like that came with some case then. So I'm not sure. But yeah, it was interesting because the cashier, what she was telling the guy, the older gentleman who was probably like in his early 60s, I think is what it was there. His wife was actually trying to purchase the gun for him with her credit card. And she specifically said, she was like, oh, does he have a card of his own that has his name on it? Or does he have cash? Because that's the only way I can do the sale because he's the one that fell at 4 for 73. Which to me is kind of a misnomer because of the fact that you actually have laws on the books that allow for spouses to buy their fucking people guns. And I know that for a fact because I have had people in the past be like, nah, bro, it's okay as long as you're married to that person. So, yeah, to me, I think she was maybe just knew is what it was, or maybe didn't know the law 100% is what it was there. But either way, the guy ended up pulling out his own card anyway, and then just giving her that card to swipe. That is what it was. So it was some antics at that point. But yeah, like I get it, obviously, because you don't want it to have to be like a straw purchase or whatever the case be. But at the same time, it's like if they both share the same last name and are clearly husband and wife, like it shouldn't fucking matter, honestly. Like it's just dumb. So anyway, again, it goes back to what I've said before with background checks in this country to begin with. They're all fucking stupid and they do nothing, honestly, at the end of the day, because you're still gonna have criminals get their hands on shit anyway and go commit massacres and shit, dude. So this one's actually pretty interesting right here, which is, let's see here. CVS on H Street in Washington, D.C., due to out-of-control theft, they now put away almost all their items and just have photographs of what is in stock. You press the button on the sale, and the sales associate gets you what you need. The show you guys said I was in Barcelona, Spain a few months ago and saw Mac laptops sitting out in the middle of the store. This is how we know. This is how you have to live in America now. This is the third world. Yes, it is, actually. It's fucking pathetic, dude. So they're putting up photographs of various items with the prices underneath them and saying, press this call button to go get your shit. This is what happens to a low trust society, people, that's being overtaken legitimately. You know? And again, it goes back to major cities versus small rural areas. While I was driving back today, Mom was driving, I was sitting passenger seat. We drove through the town next to mine. You know, I live in a small town here. There's another small town over there. Right around Canton, Ohio, here's what it is. Drove through this town, look over. There was a big old box that's probably like, trying to get my whole hand in camera. Here's what it is. It was pretty big. It was probably like the size of like a doghouse, or maybe even a little bigger than that for that matter. It had multiple slots in it. 2 of the 3 slots were filled with firewood. On the top of it, it says firewood for sale. And then had a number on it for you to call. That's what you call a high trust society. That people are willing to leave out what could be stolen as usable firewood and just assume somebody's going to call them up instead of just going over there, grabbing a bunch of shit and taking it and driving off with it. Versus a low trust society, Democrat-run shithole for that matter, where you have everything being locked up behind the counter and pictures being displayed. So you have to call for an associate to get you what you need. That's fucking pathetic is what that is, dude. It's disgusting. Sorry, I was writing something down here. Democrat run Hill pockets. Everybody knows. But yeah, I think that's also another problem, is what I said in that post there, was I was talking about, again, the big difference between, low trust society, high trust society. You have high trust society, which is small town, rural living. Everybody knows everybody. We actually have communities here is what it is. where you know somebody's not going to steal shit because they know if they're stealing from Todd down the block, or they're stealing from Janet over here, or whatever it is, or Joe down there is what it is then, or something. Versus, you run into a CVS, a Walgreens, a Walmart, whatever it is, in Washington, D.C., New York City, Chicago, Illinois, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, et cetera, name a major city, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, etc. Any part of California, really. And you don't really give a shit, dude, because you don't care who you're robbing from, because you don't know anybody. You don't care to know anybody. You don't have any real connections to that area. You're just a scumbag-ass criminal who doesn't give a shit about society as a whole is what it is. And then you have all these fucking cuck-ass bitches that will sit there and falsely claim, oh no, those people totally know that person, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, they fucking don't, you lying pricks. What they know is that they can go in there and steal from you and rob you fucking blind, and you will still be a fucking retarded piece of shit that cucks out for them every chance you get. And that's the thing, man. When we've seen the masks slip off the thin veil of civility in this country a few times now throughout history, for about the last 30 years or so, it's been every Black Friday. But then it was really in 2020 when you had bullshit-ass things by bullshit-ass governors, bullshit-ass mayors, city councilmen, etc. let their tyranny slip out because they were trying to force in mask mandates that could not be enforced by law because you're actually fucking with people's health at that point. And that's why they became ordinances, etc. That's why they became recommendations. Because they knew they were unenforceable legally. Because they know people could take them to the court and got the shit overturned very quickly is what it was. And you had Democrat governors, Democrat mayors, Democrat city councilmen, etc. pull it the most. You had them grab the fucking brass power ring and hold on to it. You had some rhino sacks of shit like Mike DeWine here in Ohio do the same thing, except for the fact that it was after a while, you had even the Republican supermajority here say, no, you know what? Fuck you, Mike. We're putting a stop to this shit now because our constituents are fucking sick and tired of it. Only took 442 days from that to get out their asses and do anything, by the way. Which I'd like to point something out, man. I was calling for that motherfucker's impeachment back in August of 2020. Within the first 90 days of the shit happening. And honestly, it was within the first 2 to 3 weeks, truthfully speaking. Because they pulled that shit back at the end of February, early March in Ohio. I was basically calling for the fucking shit to be overturned and him to be kicked the fuck out of office back in April of 2020. Before even the riots started happening then, dude. And the only reason he got reelected for a second term is shocker because it was him versus Nan Whaley and then a bunch of writing candidates nobody knew their fucking names of. To write them in there. So, and that's what pisses me off about Vivek Ramaswamy so much, because if Vivek is not an actual Manchurian candidate, he should have been in the governor's race. He would have been a great governor here in Ohio if he had jumped in that race, primary DeWine in 2022, May of 2022, went and faced off against Nan Whaley in the actual general election, beat her in a fucking landslide, even higher than DeWine did, and then would now be a sitting governor doing all kinds of two-way shit and stuff here. And being all pro-life, pro-freedom, etc. there, as he claims to be. And he would have made a great governor. The fact that he was nowhere to be found at all during that time and wasn't even known about until months later, until a few months ago here, when all of a sudden he randomly announces his candidacy for presidency. It's like, yeah, man, this guy is shady as fuck. So, and then comes out there and pretty much directly word for word quotes Obama's bullshit from a decade and a half ago. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Seriously, come on now. So, yeah, I don't trust Vivek as far as I can throw him, and that's not far. So, it is what it is. So, Anyway. That's fucking hilarious. Disney's trying to do damage control, delaying Rachel Ziegler's Snow White until 2025, which is hilarious because you got Daily Wire, Britt Cooper's version, or not Brett Cooper's version. The chick that's one of the correspondents there. She has a YouTube channel here on YouTube as well. The version where she's playing Snow White is going to be out next year at some point. The real Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. So, and of course, they're showing the images of the Seven Dwarves here. It look like they're all animated motherfuckers. Is what it is, dude. Jesus Christ, this looks retarded. Yeah, Disney delays her dumbass Snow White to 2025. Releases image to prove Seven Dwarves are still in the film. Literally all animated like a motherfucker. That was what it is. Which that's the biggest slap in the face I think of all of it, dude. Because it's like y'all could have literally went and hired 7 people, 7 actors that all have dwarfism, and made a name for these people as real, actual, decent actors and actresses, even for that matter. If that's the thing too, if they even wanted to do that too, they could have even gone that route, you know? They could have updated it that way. Where it's like, yeah, not all the dwarves are dudes this time, or whatever the case be. You could have had 1 or 2 of them be females, for that matter. And I think people would have been fine with that even. But at least have it be 7 people with dwarfism, for God's sakes. But no, you fucking go full retard. And you make some bullshit ass CGI fucking dwarves and stuff, dude. Like, what a joke. Jesus. So disgusting, man. It really is. Yeah, and speaking of disgustingness, this is where we're going to leave off tonight, actually. Which is New Jersey School District bans Halloween festivities, citing diversity, equity, and inclusion, aka critical race theory, which is what DEI is now. It's nothing more than the new version of CRT. It's anti-white racism, what it really is, honestly, dude. So, yeah, it's a bunch of shit entirely. It's fucking disgusting, dude. Halloween is one of the most inclusive holidays ever, actually. So, anyway. That being said, that's where we're at for the day. I will be back later tonight with sorry, they're talking about Susie and Summer's cause of death here, which we all know is from the cancer that she had for like decades. But yeah, I'll be back here in about 21 hours, give or take, for Stand Your Ground Saturday. We will be making this special in memoriam episode discussing those that were lost in the main tragedy, preventable tragedy, by the way, why we need to ban gun-free zones in this country, all across the entirety of the nation. And obviously discussing those that were, unfortunately taken far too soon from this world, and why people need to be armed all the time everywhere you go, man, for real. And then we'll probably do an actual scenario then, if that be the case. We might actually make scenario number 1 be the main tragedy right now, actually, dude. And be like, how would you have responded to this whole thing? I'll tell you how I would respond to it right now, actually, which is how I would have been carrying a fucking gun that day in the bowling alley, in the bar, whatever it was. Wouldn't have cared about the stupid gun laws there. And been able to kill this motherfucker on the spot, honestly. When he started opening fire on the crowd is what it was. I said it before, I'll say it again, dude. I said it years ago when Dayton went down. If I had been there, I would have stopped that son of a bitch on the spot, honestly, myself. So, anyway. And that's what needs to happen more. You need to have more good people in this country carrying, being armed, and being ready to engage these fucking pieces of shit, dude, that just want a body count. And it's as simple as that, honestly. Hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I will see you for Stand Your Ground Saturday. Have a good one. Be there for your family. Protect them as much as you can. Protect yourself from the coming insanity, and be ready to roll is what it is, because you may end up being a one-man army at some point, at least until you can find yourself a group that will, be part of you and with you and stuff like that and accept you as their own. So, it might be something where it's a few people that are a few families together or whatever the case be. They're all just, becoming their own little, armed first response kind of thing is what it is then, and grid down and whatnot. So, yeah, my mind isn't fully functioning right now. I'm getting really tired. So, like I said, gonna call it a day right now, and we'll be back again about 21 hours from now, give or take, after NEA's geek chat there on Saturday. So whenever he finishes up, it'll be probably about 15 to 20 minutes later. I'll start up then. So anyway, till later. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will be back then. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe. Stay strapped. Be ready to engage. Night, y'all.